The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Is there literally anything else I need to say? Nope, but you can't shut me up that easily. It's one of the most famous games of all time and often referred to as one of the best. And I'll tell you right now, I don't disagree. This may be my favorite game of all time. But why is that? I played it as a kid, like many others, but ignoring the ever-present nostalgia factor, does it hold out when I go back and play it today? Yes. Be it the N64, GameCube, or 3DS version, The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time is arguably the best game in the series and definitely one of the best of all time. I'll be covering all the versions because they're really all the same except for the few minor tweaks on the 3DS. For those of you who can't tell your Zeldas from your Links, I'll briefly explain the premise. You play as a young green-clad hero named Link, who's sent on a mission of destiny to save the world. Cliché, obviously, but this game is the classic of the classics, so shut your snarky face. You run around this huge 3D world, exploring towns, fields, volcanoes, a desert, caves, and even the inside of a giant fish. By the way, did anyone else call bullshit on this? How Jabu Jabu is like a tenth of the size of the frickin' dungeon inside of him? And what asshole put treasure chests down there? Does Link like shrink when he goes inside? So... And how does he not get digested? Oh, forget it. Just accept. In typical Zelda style, you collect treasures, items, play awesome minigames, and basically make your way across the world helping people and slaughtering unsuspecting creatures. The big twist in the game is the ability to travel through time by using the legendary Master Sword as you alternate from young Link to adult Link 7 years later in the future. They really capitalize on this time travel thing in terms of the gameplay, and it only adds to my theory that the best games and movies usually involve time travel. The story overall is really simplistic, but that's obviously not the point of the game. This is an adventure. You get memorable characters like Zelda, Ganondorf, and Mido, you twatbag, all wrapped up in an unforgettable journey that pretty much anyone can enjoy. Aside from the genius puzzles, non-linear nature, enjoying your interactions with things and people, beautiful scenery, what specifically makes this game one of the best? Really, it's the little moments. It's traveling across Hyrule Field on horseback, with the full moon in the background. It's finally going through the door of time, and pulling out the Master Sword for the very first time. It's stabbing that chicken, even though you know the terrible onslaught that's about to occur. That is the genius of Zelda Ocarina of Time. It's everything, even the little things, done right. On consoles, the game controls extremely well, as the Z targeting system they established set the tone for adventure games to come. You get an amazing amount of weapons too, leading me to believe that Link has stargates for pockets. And these items help you explore and fight enemies creatively. Having all these awesome weapons like the hookshot and the magneton hammer to fight with is something that is still missing from most action games today. I will admit that I didn't like the 3DS controls as much, but obviously that's the price to pay with the handheld experience. I just don't want to screw around with that joystick because I know I'm going to break it. The swordplay in all versions is really simplistic, but it can be really satisfying, especially when you use your items and you be strategic about it. Of course, there's also a lot of neat little secrets to figure out, heart pieces to find and such, but who the hell took out the picture of Mario in Zelda's castle in the 3DS version? Whoever you are, you're a Mido. The dungeons, in typical Zelda fashion, were designed extremely well, yet many people still complain about the water temple. Maybe it's because of the adjustments they made in the 3DS version, but guys, it's really not that bad. Have you played the Great Bay Temple in Majora's Mask? Way tougher to me. Anyway, the puzzles and dungeons are excellent, the bosses are threatening and fun to fight, and the pacing is pretty much perfect. It's a lengthy experience, but it won't take you terribly long to beat. With so much to find and explore, plus the Master Quest on the 3DS, the game is more than worth the cost. Of course, there's no such thing as a perfect game, so I will address some minor issues. The game feels a little easy, specifically if you know how to take down the bosses and some of the secrets. Also, now that I think about it, some things are just not self-explanatory, like breaking into Zelda's castle where you have to walk at just the right angle on that hill to avoid getting caught. But yeah, I'm really grasping at straws here, because as a 3D adventure game, Zelda Ocarina of Time never makes any damaging blunders. The music in the game is amazing. Timeless, catchy, emotional, it truly has it all. From the perfect opening theme to the final battle, from the Song of Storms to the Requiem of Spirit. The graphics in the game are great as well. The console versions do show their age, but it is tougher to judge over a decade after the game come out. Still, they're colorful, detailed, and always a blast to look at, even if there are small limitations, like the only threat from trees being a paper cut. In terms of the 3DS version, they really improved the graphics, but even then, there isn't that much of a difference. It just looks like they put a fresh new coat of paint over it. I felt like they could have done at least a little bit more, but I understand that Nintendo really needed to sell some 3DSs. What the hell? I can't even say 3DSi. Okay, Nintendo had to sell more 3DS units without much effort, and this was the best way to do it. Good job, Nintendo. To conclude, I basically just told you what you expected to hear. The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time is one of the greatest games ever. Period. Other reviewers say it, your friends say it, your dad says it, Robin Williams says it, and I say it. In all of its versions, in all of its glory, however you can get it if you don't have it already, it's worth the money. It's a timeless adventure for all ages, a must-play, and an unforgettable experience. With all that being said, thanks for watching, and have fun bombing some Dodongos.
Great! I can't wait to bomb some Dodongo!
I ruined it!